that company wanted access to you.
Well, that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that?
The dam breaks on the Bidens. New testimony and death threats. Well, the dam's finally breaking for the Bidens. Next Monday, Hunter Biden's right-hand man, Devin Archer, a lifelong friend and longtime business partner of the Biden family, will speak to James Comer's House Oversight Committee. He'll sit for a deposition under oath and possibly later testify live on camera. Miranda Devine at the New York Post reports that Devin Archer will tell Congress that Joe Biden spoke with and met dozens of times. Testimony from a Biden insider like this will be devastating. Miranda reports that when Joe Biden was vice president, Hunter Biden was meeting with the Ukrainian energy CEO, dialed his father, put it on speaker, introduced his father, the vice president of the United States, to his Ukrainian boss, and let his dad know these guys, quote, need our support. 3 days later, Joe Biden flew to Ukraine and got the prosecutor fired who was investigating Hunter's Ukrainian boss.
I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a got fired.
Donald Trump got impeached for zeroing in on that. And we have emails backing this up that Hunter was hired to get his dad to fire the prosecutor. The Biden family was getting rich off you, the American taxpayer. The Biden family was putting their own financial interests over the interests of the United States. Devin Archer was in business with the Bidens for over a decade. Devin Archer says Joe Biden was on a first-name basis with the Burisma executives. His lawyer released a statement which read in part, quote, Devin Archer believes strongly in the rule of law and the democratic system and is prepared to answer the committee's questions, just as he's already answered similar questions from a federal grand jury. And this executive is the same one who says he has tapes of Joe Biden shaking him down for $5 million and says he has bank records proving he paid the bribe. Devin Archer will also testify that Hunter called his dad in front of his business partners dozens of times. It's how Hunter justified the bribes. He can get his dad on the phone wherever and whenever a foreign national wanted, as long as he was paying. This corroborates what Tony Bobulinski said. In fact, the same day that Hunter Biden shook down the Chinese for money, claiming his dad was sitting next to him and would be really mad if the money didn't come through, well, it turns out Hunter was in Delaware at his dad's house that very same day, taking his dad's Corvette for a joyride with two young women, putting Joe and Hunter at the same place at the same time. Archer's also expected to tell Congress about dinners Hunter set up between his dad and foreign business partners from Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan. Emails and photographs also put Joe Biden at these dinners. But here's the catch. Archer's family has been getting death threats. Devin Archer has put off this deposition a couple of times. He's also about to report for prison for a year for ripping off Indian tribes. He's a convict, like a lot of the Biden's business partners were. And now the White House is panicking. Their defenses are shifting.
Chairman James Comer today says that the Oversight Committee, has evidence that the president in the past communicated directly with foreign business associates of his son Hunter Biden many times. Curious if the White House and the president still stand behind his comment that he's never been involved and has never even spoken to his son about his business.
So I've been asked this question a million times. The answer is not going to change. The answer remains the same. The president was never in business with his son. I just don't have anything else to add.
For years, the White House defense was Joe Biden never spoke to his son about his business, and now they're saying Joe Biden was never in business with his son. So what does that mean? Let's turn to Peter Schweitzer. He's the president of Government Accountability Institute and author of Red Handed. So this Devin Archer testimony is going to be devastating. It's going to be explosive. He knows everything. How do they survive that?
It's going to be very hard, Jesse. Look, the walls are closing in. First, you had the bank records that show that the money was being transferred. Now you have the testimony of business partners. Devin Archer is one. There are going to be others. And other than Joe Biden himself, Devin Archer is Hunter Biden's most important business partner. When Hunter Biden joined the Burisma board, Devin Archer got a seat on the board as well. When Hunter Biden got that sweetheart deal with that Chinese private equity equity fund and got put on the board. Devin Archer got the same slot. So he knows where everything is. And it's going to be very, very hard for the Democrats on this committee to do what they did with the whistleblowers, which is argue Joe Biden played no role. The evidence is there, and their defenses keep shifting. And I think Joe Biden is in serious trouble.
Yeah, he's going to have to be able to put Joe Biden on phone calls, in meetings. He's going to have to talk about what people knew and when they knew it. What does it tell you now the White House is changing their defense strategy? It's no longer Joe didn't talk about business, it's now Joe wasn't in business.
Yeah, we've been at this since 2018. They initially said there were no foreign deals. Then they shifted and said there might have been foreign deals, but the Bidens made no money. Then it became Joe Biden didn't know about any of the deals. Then it became Joe Biden didn't participate in any of the deals. And now it's that he was not in business with his son. Look, the implications for this are huge, Jesse. If you look at that 1023 form that the FBI released, if that document is true, that document reveals that one of the people that was at those meetings that heard the conversations about bribing the Bidens worked for President Zelensky. Who really wants to believe, if that meeting took place and that document is accurate, that that individual did not go and report to President Zelensky what he heard? And again, if that document is true, who wants to believe that President Zelensky and his administration have not used that as leverage over Joe Biden? Ukraine policy? We may all have to start learning the Ukrainian word for compromise, because this is a very clear indication of how this has shaped this administration's policy towards Ukraine and also towards China.
Exactly. And now listen to this. Business Insider just revealed one of the people who paid for Hunter's artwork. Her name is Elizabeth Naftali. She's not an art collector at all. She's a Democrat donor, and she's a friend of the Bidens. She donated to the Biden campaign, and Joe appointed her to a cushy government post shortly after Hunter's art show. Does that surprise you, Peter?
No, Jesse, it's the grift. I mean, look, the question that we've always asked, and that I know you've asked, is what is the Biden's business? They're getting all this money from overseas. They're getting all this money for artwork that, frankly, is not worth $500,000. What is the business? What's the product? The product is Joe Biden. Let's remember, with Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company, Hunter Biden was getting $83,000 a month when his father was vice president of the United States. When his father became the ex-vice president of the United States, Hunter's take from Burisma was cut in half. So everybody knows what the product is and why this was being done. And the Democrats, I think, that continue to cling to the notion that there's nothing here, there's nothing to see, are making a big strategic mistake in my mind.
Yep, they're getting hung out to dry. Peter, thank you so much. And as always, thanks for pushing this investigation so hard.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it.